there, thanks for joining me to color. Today we are going to be working on this cute Stampin' Bella image called Vienna and her Vespa. Isn't she adorable? Love her. I will put a link down in the description box of the card kit and all the supplies I used. I would love for you to come shopping with me. This stamp also comes with a sentiment. That's always a bonus. If you have a question, make sure and leave me a comment and I will get back to you. Otherwise, I have already stamped my image on Neenah 80-pound Solar White cardstock with Memento Tuxedo Black ink. So let's color. So let's start out by outlining our image. For that, we're going to use B000, B000, and the Colorless blender. I'm going to start with my B000, and I'm going to go on this side of my girl. And I'm going to start up here at the top of her hair. And I'm just going to touch down on the line close to her head and flick away from her. And there's got a little bit of space in there between the hair, so I'm going to go around that. And I'll go down here along her arm. And then in here, she's got a little bit of space here for her, between her arm there. So let's go ahead and do a little bit in there. And then we're going to go over here underneath of her skirt. And underneath of her Vespa. And then we're going to continue down to about the end of the fender right here. So the end of this Vespa fender. Then let's do a little bit over here on this arm. And right here's a little bit of space. Okay, that looks pretty good. Well, let's do a little bit down in here too. There's a little spot right here that's background. And then let's do a little bit away from the front of her little scooter. Okay, then we're going to grab B000, and I'm going to start right over here. And I'm just going to brush right over the top of that B000, and I'm going to go past. I'm just swiping out here into my background. And we're going to do that all the way around. We're going to do up here above this skirt, even though we didn't do it the first time. And between her arm. And let's go up here to the top of her head. And then I want to go over the top of her head. Then let's go down here and we'll get these little spaces in between. And then let's turn her here. And we want to do this side. So let's go from the top of her fender right here and just brush away from the edge. And if you touch your girl, it's not going to be a tragedy because this is pretty light. You could just erase it with your Colorless blender. But I like to do my outlining first so I don't have to worry. If I do get it somewhere, I can erase it right away, or I can make a new one. So I'm going to do Colorless blender now. So now I'm just going to go back over both of those colors and swipe out into the white. So that will soften the edge and blend the two together where they were colored on. And let's get these little spots here in between her arm. And then when I do this with the Colorless blender, I don't have to worry that I've touched her and transfer some of that color into my coloring. And then we'll go down here. And we'll work our way back up to the top. So we went all the way around and softened the whole edge. Yeah, I got a little bit right here. I think I'll do a little bit more on this side. And maybe a little bit here on the inside of her scooter. Let's do her skin next. For that, I'm going to use E21, E00, and for her cheeks, I'm going to use R20. Let's go down here and we'll start on her legs. So I'm going to start with my E21, and let's do a little dab here where her leg is touching. And then let's do this leg underneath of her skirt. And then we're going to do a small line down the back. And the bottom of her little toes right there. She's got just a little bit of her little toe showing. Then for this side, let's go down the inside. And then I'm going to do the underside of her foot and her toe. And then I'm just going to fill those in with my E00 because there's not very much space. These Stampin' Bella girls always have little skinny arms and legs. And then we'll fill this side in. Sometimes I use my original markers to color these in because they're so skinny. I have just the colors I use for skin all the time in those, just so I can not worry about getting it anywhere else. All right, let's go up here and we'll do her arm. So again, grab your E21. And let's do a little dab here underneath of her hair, and then underneath of her arm there. And we'll do this side. And for over here, let's do next to her shirt. And then she's got a couple little fingers down here. I'm just going to go ahead and color those. They're pretty dinky. And then go up the inside of her arm. And then again, we're just going to fill those in with our E00. Then for her little face, grab your E21. And she's got a little bit of her neck and her shoulders showing up here too. So let's go ahead and do a little bit up here, like that. And then let's brush this away from her hair. And then we're going to fill that in with our E00. Nothing too fancy. And then for her cheeks, I'm going to use R20. I'm just going to do a couple little circles here on the outside of her eye. So I try to keep it more from center and more over this way. And then I'm going to go over that with my E00. For her hair, let's use E51 and E50. I'm going to start with my E51. And I'm going to brush a little bit away from this flower up here. And then I want to go on top of this headband. And then for her hair, I just picked some spots where I wanted to put some darker in the little curls. I tried not to make it too technical. And then down here, let's do a little bit like this. And maybe in here. And up here. And then I just filled it in with my E50. I didn't do anything too fancy up here. And then I'm going to go with my E51 again and just put a little bit of that dark back in. For the alternate stripe on her shirt and the ruffle on her skirt, we're going to use Y23 and Y32. I'm going to start with my Y23, and I'm going to do the biggest stripes. So this little one up here at the top, I'm going to paint a different color. So I'm going to skip that one, and I'm going to come down here with my Y23, and I'm going to brush away from her hair. Then we'll go to the next one, and the next one, and work our way down. And then we'll grab, oh, let's do a little bit over here on her shirt too. So let's do this stripe and that stripe. And then I'm going to go across with my Y32. And then I'm going to go back with a second coat of my Y23. And then I'm going to go down here and do her skirt, the little ruffle. So I'm going to go with a little bit right next to the edge of the end of her skirt. And I'm not being too fancy. I'm just kind of squiggling a little line on there. Trying to make it too huge because I want to put the other color on the bottom. And then we're going to fill it in with our Y32. For her headband, alternate stripes on her shirt and her skirt, we're going to use BG 13, 11, 10, and 000. And let's start up here at our headband with BG 13. And I'm just going to brush right away from this flower. Just a little dab. Then I'm going to add BG 11. And then let's grab BG 13 again and do a little bit from this side. And then BG 11 of that. And then our BG 10. And then I'm going to go over that with my BG 000 because it's got a little bit of a blue, more blue of a cast to it. That. And let's go down here and we'll do her shirt stripes. So grab your BG 13 first. And let's do this little dinky one on her sleeve here. And then we're just going to add a little bit to each side, like we did with the yellow. And then we'll add BG 11. And then we'll finish those in with our BG 10. And then we're going to go over those with our BG 000. And then I'm going to add a second coat of my BG 13. Okay, for her skirt, let's do BG 13 first, and I'm going to do a little bit over here next to her hand. So let's go over here and bring that up. But I'm also going to make her have a little ruffle. So let's go right here. She's got this little spot on her skirt, so I'm going to bring that down here. That. And then up here, she's got a little crease right here. So I'm going to do a little bit of this color there. So let's do a little dab. That. And then let's do her fanny. And I'm going to bring this down so that it makes a little ruffle right here. So let's go ahead and do our little ruffle right in here. And we're going to bring this down to connect to that. And then, let's see, let's add each of these little spots that go down. We're going to add some ruffle or some pleats. So let's go in here. And then we'll do the next one. And then we'll go over here and get this one right here. And let's go ahead and go a little bit underneath where her fanny is and out over here. Then we're going to add BG11. So let's go over here and start over here again. And I'm going to go right along the edge, pull that up. And up here, we'll go along this one. And then we want to do each one of these little pleats. And then let's do a little bit on this side of this wrinkle. And I'll bring that up here. Then I'm going to add BG10. So let's go down here. I'm going to brush right over this. Bring it out a little bit more. And then we're going to do the same for our little pleats. Then we're going to add BG000. So I'm going to swipe over the entire thing. Then I'm going to give it a second coat. So grab your BG13. And let's see, this one over here. Let's bring that up just a little bit in the middle. Then we're going to add BG11. work our way across. And I better do a little bit on this side over here. And I'm going to add BG 10. And then I'm going to add a little bit to these. Trying to leave a little space here in the top, so it looks like that's the top of our wrinkle. And then we're going to go over that with our BG 000. So swipe over the entire area. Let's hop down here and do her shoes. For the top of the shoes, I'm going to use BG 13, and for the soles, I'm going to use C5. So I didn't do anything fancy. I'm just going to take my BG 13 and fill that in. They're pretty small, so be careful. And later, when I put the tag on, I kind of covered most of this section up, but I'm still going to color it, because that's what I did to the original. And we'll go down here, and there's a little bit of her shoe right here on the front of her toe. I'm going to bring this down like that. And this side, let's do over here. And this one doesn't show her shoe showing, but I'm going to do just a little bit around this side there, just so it doesn't look funky. Let's do the flowers next. So we're going to use R56, RV34, R83, and RV11. I'm going to start with my R56, and let's do the one up here in her hair first. So I'm going to do a little bit of that down at the bottom of each one of these petals. That, and then I'm going to hop down here and do these that are in her little basket on her cart too. So let's do right along the bottom. And then we're going to add RV34. And the one up here in her hair. And then we're going to add R83. And then I'm going to fill them in with my RV11. And later I put some Stickles Stardust on these to make them all sparkly. And I'm going to add a little bit of that dark back in, so R56. For the little headlight, we're going to use C00 and B00, and later I put some glossy accents over that to give it a shine. So with my C00, I'm going to add a little bit along this line. And then I'm going to add my B00 right over that gray. I'm not going to go all the way to the edge with my blue. Leave a little bit of white over there, and then I'm going to give it a second coat of my C00. For the tires and some of the accessories like the seat and handlebars and a couple other things on her scooter, we're going to use C9, 7, 5, and 3. And I'm going to start with my C9, and I'm going to do this little handlebar over here by her hand first. And I hardly ever use my C9, so it's really wet. So if yours is really wet, you might want to pop the end off the other side so that it doesn't make a big spill on your project. And over here, we'll get this side. And then I'm going to add a dab of C7. And then we'll fill it in with our C5. And let's do a little bit of C3 here on the end just to give it a little bit of a highlight there at the top. That'll kind of push that dark color back. And let's do her seat right here. So grab your C9. And I'm going to go a little bit underneath the ruffle of her skirt. And C7. C5. And then over the entire thing with my C3. And let's go down here and do this little running board right here. So again, grab C9. And we're going to do right. And then C7. C5. And then our C3. Let's do this little piece of chrome right here. So C9 first, and she's got just a little bit showing on the other side of her leg. I'm just going to dab that. And then we want to bring a little bit on this side. And C7. C5. And then our C3. Okay, this little tire down here, let's do with our C9 first. Let's do this back tire. So I'm going to go around, I'm going to go first off of here. And the same for this side. And then she's got a little hubcap right here, so I'm going to go around the edge of that. I'm trying not to color her foot. And I think I'll bring this color down just a little bit more. And then I want to add C7. and then C5. And I'm going to go ahead and fill that in. That. Then we'll go up here and we'll do this front one. So for the front one, let's do, oops, let me get the right pin first. C9, so I'm going to use the fender as my guide. So I'm going to go right across the front of my fender and then back. And let's bring it back a little bit more. And then we want to go around the hubcap. Trying to be very careful. C9 is really dark. And then we're going to add C7. Go around this hubcap. And then C5. Let's bring this color around the other side. And then I want to add a little bit up here. And then again around our hubcap. And then I want to fill that in with my C3. Let's get this little piece right here in front of the fender. So C9 first. And then C7. C5. And finally our C3. Next, we're going to do under the fender wells and a little bit more of our chrome accents. So for that, we're going to use C3, C1, and C00. First, let's go up here and do the little circle around the outside of our headlight. So we're going to do C3 first. And then C1. And then fill it in with your C00. Then let's go down here and grab your C3. We're going to do this little section above the fender well. So right here. Like that. Then for the fender well, let's come over the top of our tire and come down into here. And then C1. And then we're going to fill that in with our C00. Let's go down here and do these tires down here, the hubcaps. So I'm going to start with my C3, and let's do that on this side. And then we're going to get this little centerpiece And in here, and then for these little spokes here, I did a little bit on each side, or on the back side. Then we're going to add C1. Add a little bit to each one of these centers. And then we better do in here. And then we're going to fill the whole thing in with C00. So let's just swipe right around the circle. Then let's hop back here and do the back one. So grab C3 and let's do in here. And then C1. And then C00. So for Vespa, we're going to do R27, 08, 14, and 22. I'm going to start with R27 up here at her handlebars. So let's do that right where with a little circle for the light starts. I'm going to bring that up here. So, and let's bring it out a little bit over here, and then I'm going to go under this line. And let's do a little bit right next to our handlebar. Then we're going to add R08. So let's do a little dab over here on this side of our light. And then we're going to do R14. And then R22. And let's move down to this next section. So grab R27, and she's got a little bit of between her flowers that are showing right here. I'm going to go ahead and just color that in. Bring it up here. And then we'll add R08. I'm going to fill this little back section in. And then let's fill in that little spot with our R14. And let's do R27 again. So for that, I'm going to do the front of this little basket thing she's got holding these flowers. And then we're going to do R08. And R14. And then our R22. Alright, let's see here. Let's do this fender next. So R27, and I'm going to go right underneath of this line. And then I also want to go straight across and then down to the bottom. And then we'll add R08. R14, then our R22. Okay, how about this front section here? So R27, and I'm going to go right down the back of this, that, and let's do a little dab on each one of these little lines. Exaggerate that one a little bit. And then let's do underneath this little basket. And, oh, let's do a little bit right down here, too. Let's do on the back. Let's see, let's do... I think I'll do a little bit down here in this corner right here. Next, we're going to go with R08. Then we're going to add R14. Try not to color outside the lines right here. Careful. I'm going to fill this in. And let's bring this down. And then let's do R22. right, let's add a little bit back here on this other section. So R27 first. Then we're going to add R08. And R14. I'll bring this down here just a little bit more. And I'm going to fill that in with my R22. And let's grab R27 again. Let's do this little section here underneath of her dress. Oops. Careful, don't color your ruffle. And then R08. R14. Oops. And then R22. Then let's get this little section over here too. So grab R27 and let's do the other side of this. And then I'm going to go down her leg. And then let's do a little dab in here. And then I'm going to go underneath of this skirt. And let's bring this down a little bit so it's a little more even. And since that's connected to this, let's do this side over here. Then we're going to add R08. Let's do back here first. Fill that in. And R14. And then R22. R27, and let's do underneath of this little line. And I'm going to do this little section right here behind her leg. And it's really small, so be careful. And then let's do underneath of this trim. And then let's go down this line. And on this side, up here, I'm going to do a little dab up here on this little crease. Then we're going to add R08. And then we'll add our 14. I think I'll color this section back here in. And then R22. For the ground, let's use W3, 1, and 00. I'm going to start with my W3, and I'm going to, since the bike is tipped kind of sideways, I'm going to go sideways with my line. So let's go. And a lot of this is going to be covered up again by your little sentiment, but I'm still going to put it on there. And let's bring this back. And we're also going to do this side. So let's go over here. Trying to color that girl's leg. And then we're going to come out. And she's got her little foot on the ground. So let's do and I want to bring this up a little bit more. Let's go ahead and go along the back of her leg. And then this foot is up in the air. So let's go shining. So up here. Maybe it brings her leg out like this. Then I'm going to add W1. And then we're going to add W00. I'm going to go back with my W3 and put some of this back in. So there is Vienna and her Vespa, all colored up. Didn't she turn out cute? Love her. Then again, here is my finished card. So on my finished card, I put some Stickle Stardust on these flowers and the one in her hair. And then I use my Spica clear glitter pen, of course, in her hair to add some sparkles. And then on the little light, I put some glassy accents, so it's kind of got like a glass bubble on the top. there. These I also attached with my glossy accent since I had it out, the little sequins here. This little ribbon, I put the whole front of this card down to the green piece together first, and then I put the ribbon on and I taped it on the back. It does not go all the way across to the back. So I put a little piece of tape in the middle back here to hold those on there. And then I attached the green sheet with the front to the back of the card base. And then these are just glued down to each other. Otherwise, the whole card is flat. Pretty good. So I hope you had fun coloring with me today. If you have a question, go ahead and leave me a comment and I'll make sure to get back to you. Otherwise, we'll see you next time. Have a great day. Bye.